What's happening, everybody? It is Brian here with Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Thank you so much for joining me. I apologize for yesterday. I filmed a video on the lunar eclipse, a horoscope for Friday, and I just couldn't. I'm having internet issues that might actually go on for the next week. So I'm just gonna try the best I can and see if I can get this uploaded with my phone and just have a smaller video size and just trying to adapt and figure it out. That was kind of like my my lunar eclipse lesson was maybe I just got to figure things out more, and I can't just rely on one thing, and I got to take action to make things that I want happen. And I can't just think that just rely on something, like believe that it's going to work every day. And I think a lot of people had a lesson to learn with that lunar eclipse yesterday. The energy was pretty heavy, and what's crazy about that energy is it's just like small time compared to the next two eclipses we have in the next 30 days. The solar eclipse on the solstice on June 21st is going to be heavy. It's coming with a lot, and same with July 4th and 3rd, wherever you are. That lunar eclipse on America's birthday is another heavy aspect. And really, I think this lunar eclipse really like activated Mars for the year. Like Mars has kind of been silent in Pisces and kind of like taking in information and trying to decide where he was going to go and what side he was going to fight for. And I think this lunar eclipse was activation for Mars. It's like you have choices now. Like you have to decide what you're going to fight for and where you're going to put that drive, because we're coming to a point where we got to make choices, and we got to decide where we're going to put that masculine energy, that divine masculine energy. Are we going to put that towards weird agendas that other people are pushing on you through the TV, through the news, through radio, like whatever, like anything mainstream? Like there's going to be weird things pushed, and people are going to feel like they're stuck doing one of those things, and it's not the case. Like you have a choice. You can fight and stick up for your sovereignty, your being. Like we are all very powerful sovereign beings, and it starts with like your mind and realizing that you can control the outcome and you can control your thoughts and where you put that action. And are you going to put that action to a place where you can stand up with each other and fight for each other, or are you going to put that Mars passion and take action for something that doesn't even serve your highest good? This is where we're coming this year, and Mars has just got activated, and he's going to be playing a huge role this year. And he's over halfway now, but yesterday he was halfway through Pisces, and he's ripping through Pisces. Like Mars moves really fast. That's probably his fastest zodiac. So he's coming up, and June 27th is when he goes into Aries, and it's about to, like, that's where he's going to spend the next 6 months until January 6th. Mars will be in Aries with a retrograde in September. So we got to get ready, because that Mars in Aries transit is going to be really all about finding your identity and what you want to fight for, and not getting lost in someone else's agenda, right? Like Aries is opposite of Libra, so it's like, are you going to follow someone else, or are you going to take control of yourself and be powerful and fight for yourself and what's right for humans, and not fall into someone else's agenda? So that's where we're going with Mars right now. But to look at the transit for this weekend, June 6th, June 7th of 2020, it's really like it's a full weekend and a full week of the sun squaring Mars. They're going about the same pace right now, and they're just going to square each other all weekend, all week. And this is just another mutable square, so we're like trying to figure out some change. We're trying to figure out like how to find like truth, like what is the truth, and are we getting the right information? Are we taking action on the right information? And it could feel difficult right now because there are many truths, But I think the real truth that's embedded in all of us is the truth that there's a bigger picture and there's a plan for us, and the less that we can get stuck in this matrix, because that's what it is. This is just a matrix. The less we can get stuck in the matrix and stop following what the TV tells us to do, and like we can break out of it. Like we just have to stop giving it credit and stop feeding its power. And you can have whatever truth you want. That's the North Node in Gemini. It's like you get to decide what you want. Like you get to find new truths and be curious and like look around, and like that's what we're being asked to do right now. So be curious, and if I sound crazy, that's fine. Like it's my truth and I'm going to stay in it. But you have the option to see me, to hear me, and to go out and look for a truth that fits you. And if it's aligned, that's great. If it's not, but it still serves your purpose and why you're here, like that's great too. We have to see each other, and we have to respect each other, because everybody's a little different and we're all going to see things differently and have a different perspective. So see each other, fight for each other, not against each other. I'm going to be honest, Mars in Aries it's war. We're coming into a crazy time in our life. This year is going to bring war. So we got to get ourselves mentally right, figure out who we are, figure out our identity, figure out what we're truly fighting for, and we're going to put that passion, because Mars is going to run the collective with Saturn right now. And if on an individual basis you're not strong enough, and like you can't pull that strength card and get through it, then it's going to be very difficult. And I say this with love. Like, I need to get this out to whoever wants to see this video. I did put it on Twitter, but Mars is going to be running the show with Saturn, and that's our two malefics. And Mars makes some heavy aspects when it goes into Aries. It's going to make not one, not two, but 3 squares to Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. It's going to oppose the Sun and make a T square to that 3. And we just had 2 T squares in the last 2 weeks. In the last week. Really the last week and a couple days. With this eclipse was a T square to Mars with the moon and the sun, and then it was also the moon and Mars T squaring the sun on June 1st. It was Friday. It was when the riots started happening. So Mars is really activated right now. He's getting upset, and he's about to start bringing some heat. So we got to get ourselves right. Got to come into that mentally, and I just want to prepare you guys for that now. As far as the transits go, today we do have the moon conjuncting the south node in Sag, so big beliefs, like we got to use these big beliefs to like see that maybe like there's more to it than what we already thought. Like we already had these beliefs that religion or that the government needs to control you or that people need to control you. Like it's not. Like we gotta come off that. We gotta go look for a new way and like change, right? And Gemini is curious and mutable air. Like we gotta change the way we're thinking right now. We have to. We're being asked to by the universe. That's how astrology works. That's how the transits work. And I know I don't have the chart up for you right now, but it's important to follow these things. It's all here for a reason. As above, so below. And I'm just a messenger, so I'm just trying to get the message out, but it's coming. More heat. So big beliefs, they got to be felt. Like we got to bring them up and feel them with our moon, and that's really what this eclipse brought up for a lot of people. And it's good to be adventurous, but we got to be adventurous in a Gemini kind of way, like with what's around us in our community and with who's around us, and we got to explore a tighter circle right now and get out of what's happening everywhere in the world and stop tying ourselves to like all these crazy things, because that's not going to help us grow and heal right now. And to each their own. Maybe it is for you. Like, I don't know, this is just a mundane horoscope, but that's just my interpretation of the astrology. Again, I'm never going to tell you how to live your life. I'm just going to interpret this how I interpret it, and if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. And if not, I respect you. I really do. So, it's just more of the squares, more of the squares. Yeah, it's a lot. The moon is going to move into Capricorn and start conjuncting Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn, and it's also going to be making Ceci squares to Venus, and Venus is making a Ceci square right now to Jupiter. So it might feel like that one beautiful thing you had in your life is just kind of like slipping away a little bit, like you can't grasp it, and like you can, you just have to. Sometimes we have to go outside the box and figure something out, and that's just life throwing the curveball, like we talk about. So if you feel like that one big thing that you had going for you is kind of slipping this weekend, it's not. Like, you'll get it, but sometimes we got to reel ourselves in and figure out some way to get through that. And like, that's like me with these horoscopes, and like I love doing these, and they don't get like a ton of traction yet, but I do. I love talking to you guys, and I love doing these, and my internet's out, and I'm like filming this on my phone so that like maybe I can upload a smaller file to YouTube and like still get something out. And like, it kind of crushed me yesterday. Like, I spent like 5 hours trying my hardest to with my son to try and like figure out how to get it, and I just couldn't. It wasn't gonna upload it. The file was too big coming from my computer onto YouTube, and the definition was too high, and I just couldn't do it. And I just had to give up, and like, it was the last thing I wanted to do. But you know, I had to surrender, and sometimes we have to surrender for what we love, and realize that the universe does everything for a reason, and that it's gonna come back around. We just have to sometimes reel it back in and be like, okay, I still have everything inside. That isn't the most important thing in my life, but you can do what it takes to get it back. Yeah. Let's move on to Sunday. Again, still squaring Mars, direct. It's exact at 17 degrees Gemini with the Sun, and 17 degrees Pisces, and Venus is still making the Ceci square to Jupiter. The Moon is going to be 13 degrees in Capricorn, so later on in the evening and into Monday, it's going to be hitting Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, and that's going to bring up some more change, some more emotional change, and it's big change with the Pluto and Jupiter conjunction, because they're getting closer every day. With the retrogrades, Jupiter is creeping closer and closer back to that exact conjunction with Pluto. That energy is big this year. It's going to go back over Pluto, and then back over it again, and Saturn's going to get close, and it's a lot. Like, our structure and the way we view just like money and power is all about to change. Like, big change. Like, Jupiter is just sweeping over Pluto, and Pluto and Jupiter are just like, Pluto's small, but it brings the biggest change. And when it's met with the biggest planet in our solar system that brings the most, it's big. So yeah, there's just big change, and there's going to be a lot, and it's Mars activated, like I said, so it's going to be an aggressive year. It's not going to get any easier from here on out. I told you guys with the new moon, in that new moon that we had, that it doesn't get any better than this, and it's been, the energy's ramping up, and it's going crazy ever since then. So this Venus retrograde's in full effect. Mercury goes retrograde on the 17th in Cancer, and then spends a long extended stay in Cancer. So again, it's about our emotions, and it's about communicating these emotions, and communicating, you know, Cancer's like the family and your roots, and then Gemini is like siblings and community, and it's communication. Like, it is so much about communicating and keeping your family and figuring out what's going on in your family and your world right now. It's small. It's a small world for everybody right now. It's not the big world that we're all used to with Sag, like the South Node's in Sag, and I'm sorry, like, it's not about the big world anymore. It's about the tight home, community, and everything that's around you, and that's what we need to be focusing on, so that we can work on things inside of ourselves, because when Mars comes into Aries, it's heating up, it's ramping up, it's going to get intense, full intensity. So that's all I'm going to do for this horoscope. I just want you guys to know it's not going to get any easier this year. And I love you guys. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. But the more you know, the more you can mentally prepare and be come into your love, come into your true self, to love each other, love yourself. I mean, we gotta have that passion for each other, and for ourselves, and really put that out there, because if we're passionate for someone else's plan, it's gonna be a mess. And honestly, I know many people are gonna be passionate for that agenda, and that's why I'm telling you guys who are willing to listen to this message that you gotta stand up, because it's gonna get crazy. And I love you guys, and I just want you to know that. So I hope you guys are all well. I love you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit more intense. I felt like I had a lot to say because I didn't get a video out yesterday. I truly appreciate everybody who watched this video. If you made it this far, please like. Almost forgot. I would like to pull a tarot card. The King of Coins. Well, are we going to make the reality we truly desire? Like, we already know exactly the reality we want. We've already built it. We're the king of it. It's in our head. But we can't let the outside reality take that away from you. Like, you're a sovereign being, and you can create the reality you desire, and that you want, and that you love, and it's beautiful. You're the master. You're the man, the woman, the everything. Like, own it. Own that identity, and don't let anybody take it from you. I'm going to pull one of these wild harmonic cards. Dimension of Celestial. Victorious Silence. Yeah, we need to stop worrying about the world. We need to go inside of ourselves. We need to go inside of ourselves and like figure out what's going on deep inside. And when we go inside, deep inside, we're going to realize that we are a sovereign being, and that we already can create the reality that we desire, and we know all the things that we want this world to be, but we got to go get it, and we got to go inside of our mind and inside of ourselves to figure that out. Now I will let you go, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I love you all.